All right, have another story, and this one is not a like a travel or a journey through my history or anything. This is like a yesterday I messed up type of thing, and it's inspired me to come and I don't want to say preach, but really really bring this message to anyone who is trying to better themselves and trying to achieve a certain level of success. Because man, I felt so stupid after this because it was so easily avoided. All right, so real story. Uh, Last week, I was asked to join the silent audience of a podcast that is in the works. So I joined the podcast, put on a polo and all that good stuff, looked professional, had the haircut. And I got to watch a guy who is living the life that I want to live. And he was talking about, it kind of like somewhat of his journey to that point, and somewhat of how he got there, and him being able to take care of his mom, and him being location independent, and him being able to do this and this. And I'm like, man, this guy is living the life that I want and that I someday will live. All right, this is whether or not the story has a good ending or not. I will live this life someday. I know it. But since it was a test run of the podcast, like it was only 30 minutes, so we didn't get to sit there and listen for very long because, like I said, it's only 30 minutes. So we only kind of got into like the motivations behind why he wanted to live this life, and some of the things that he's doing now that he's living the life. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't get to go into the whole, how did you get there? How did you arrive at the idea that you wanted to get there? How did you go about the execution? What were your first steps? What were the downfalls, the hardships of getting there? And how long did it really take you? We didn't get to get into the meat of the story. Just kind of like the beginning, I want this life, and the end, now I have this life. And maybe like some book recommendations in the middle. But like, yeah, it didn't get to the real meat and bones of the story that I wanted to hear. So after that, I kind of, it left a little bit to be desired, and so I messaged the guy who set me up with this, with the invite to the podcast, and I was like, man, that was pretty good, and it would be really cool to be able to pick this guy's brain because he's literally living the life that I want, like I said. And he was like, all right, well, he's a good friend of mine. I can set you up. He's a pretty successful guy. He's doesn't really have a whole lot of time on his hands, but we can probably sit down for a few minutes and and chop it up. I was like, all right, cool. So he set it up for yesterday. Yesterday was the day he set it up for, and I don't know what happened, but I got cocky and I didn't respect the opportunity. That's the main theme of this video, is respecting your opportunities that arrive or arise. And I've been putting everything in my calendar lately because sometimes I have a lot going on and I tend to forget about what's going on in my life. So I've been putting things in my calendar. Like, I have my entire day set out in my Apple calendar, and it helps keep me on track a bit. But for some reason, I was like, yeah, I'll be able to remember. I'll remember the day and the time that all this is happening. And so I just kind of went through the rest of the week leading up to yesterday, and like kind of in the back of my head that this conversation was coming up with this guy who was perfectly living the life that I would like to live. And yeah, I knew it was coming, and it was on the horizon, right? So yesterday comes, and I go through my whole day. I go to the gym. I go through my work day and all that good stuff. I eat dinner, and then after dinner, I'm like, let me just chill for a while. Completely have forgotten that this conversation was supposed to be happening in a couple hours, and I'm sitting here on this couch behind me. I turn on my PlayStation and I start playing Hogwarts Legacy. And I guess an hour, 2 hours go by, and I look at my phone and it's 15 to 20 minutes past the time that the conversation was supposed to happen at 7:15. It was about 7:30, 7:35, and I'm like, fuck, I've missed it. So I try to log into the FaceTime that was set up for me, and I tried texting, and I don't hear anything for a little bit, and then I get the text back that I'll read it to you. Yeah, we had to bounce off. That was a great chance to chat it up. Not sure if I could get you that sort of chance again. I really respect his time. And I'm like, oh my God, my heart drops. I feel like a total asshole, a jackass. All of the derogatory terms you can throw at me, that's what I felt like. I felt like a complete POS, because this guy who was I would consider a friend of mine, he set me up perfectly with the conversation that I asked for, and I just completely didn't show up for it. And man, it hurt. It hurt. So I literally spent the entire rest of the night feeling sorry for myself because I missed out on this great opportunity, and it's a complete miss. It's an L. It's all those things. So yeah, that's something that could have just been so easily prevented. All I had to do was write it down, put a reminder in my calendar, and I would have been there, and I would have had this conversation, and maybe I could have walked out of that conversation with a mentor or with new information that I had never heard before, or just some actionable steps to take. And I didn't get any of that because I was too busy playing PlayStation, which I don't even really do that much anymore. For whatever reason, yesterday was the day I decided to turn it on and waste that time and waste that opportunity. Yo, update. It's the next day. I just wanted to kind of jump in and say that I humbled myself. I apologized to the guy who set up the entire meeting with me, and I also asked him to apologize to the guy who I was supposed to be meeting with, and I really laid it all out there that I usually don't do this. I would never let that happen again. I respect people's time, and he got me a reschedule. This is what I mean. This is what I mean by respect your opportunities. You have to respect your opportunities, because if you had so much pride that you couldn't apologize, you couldn't humble yourself, you can't do the things that are necessary, then you won't keep getting the opportunities that you so desire, or that you claim that you desire, if you don't respect them. If you don't respect them, you obviously don't want them that much. I wanted this conversation
really badly because I needed to talk to this person living the life that I want to live. All right. So this is just kind of like lesson learned. Yeah, just make sure that anytime you get an opportunity, you respect the hell out of it. Put it in your calendar. Repeat it over and over to yourself. If it's something that's going to really help you out, do not let that shit slip, bruh. Don't let it slip away because you never know how long it could be or when another opportunity like this could come along. You know what I mean? So, yeah, respect your opportunities and really take that seriously. All right. I just wanted to kind of jump in at the end here and make this update because hard work pays off. All right. It pays off. So I'm going to go. Subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff if you learned something. And yeah, it's been Day One Goals. Peace.